You want your edit to sound like Arcane, League of Legends? I don't care if you're a beginner, intermediate or expert. After watching this video, you will make more money or your edits will sound like a cinema. I'm a professional video editor with a diploma in media and academic studies in music tech. So here's how to make thousands of dollars per month from video editing with sound design. We're gonna start off with types of sound effects. I've compiled here a big list of sound effects for you. Go on this page and check them out, and you can just get a good idea. Don't worry, this is beginner stuff. We'll get very advanced soon. Sourcing sound effects and music. So you can get them in two ways, free or paid. So you're either broke or you make a little bit of money. But we all get the sound effects free at first, because none of us make money at the start. Free, you can get them from youtube.com. Literally look up like bruh sound effect. Bruh. You can use that. Freesound.org. I just found this website recently, but it's so cool. Literally any sound effect you want, you can just look it up. It's all free. Freemusicarchive.org. That's how you get music. Usually the songs are like default that you hear in DIY channels, but then there's also paid versions, which is what I use. First off, Epidemic Sound, that's the best one. I don't think you should be using any other one. Motion Array, yearly subscription is very cheap. I use that for B-roll, but there's a bunch of music, a bunch of sounds in there. The whoosh sound effect or anything that has a peak is added also at the peak of the movement. Wherever your keyframe goes the fastest is where your sound is the loudest. Also, you should add sound effects to everything in motion in your edits, unless you want to place focus on a specific object, then you only do sound effects for that. Now I'm gonna add sound effects to this clip that I have. I'm not gonna change the volume, I'm not gonna add any effects. This is just beginner. I'm gonna show you where you need to add sound effects. So here, two movements. We have paper and a whoosh because things are moving on screen. You open it up, right, in and out, put it on the timeline. So we'll have one sound effect for in and then one for out.
Imagine having access to the freedom.
And now we need to add the swoosh. As I said, in the middle. So where is the middle of the animation? It's like here. So we add one here, one here.
Imagine having access to the freedom.
What I see here is keyboard typing because there's text typing on screen and some like clicks like and whooshes. That's all we need. Yeah, the clicks are basically the lines being drawn. So we just leave it in for as long as the text gets typed, and then I like to fade it out a little bit. And on top of that, I will add a wind the mechanism. You can usually copy sound effects to make them longer.
To the freedom and
you don't need to overcomplicate it. I mean, this is pretty simple stuff. So here we have a flash of light and an explosion. This is pretty simple. If it's a flash of light, I usually like to do either a whoosh or something musical like I showed you earlier. I like to use this howling crystal glass sound effect. In and out, boom. In the middle of it, the peak of the volume, we artificially make it like this.
That the elites.
In the middle of it, we add a...
That the elites.
Yeah, this is perfect.
Now looking back over...
Ideally, you add the sound effects and mix them at the same time. There's too many things happening here to do it one by one. We don't want to waste time. So I'm just gonna add the paper crumpling sound effect and that's it.
Now looking back over history.
And it sounds very loud right now, but don't worry, we'll fix it later. A cut in the middle, I want to add a click sound effect.
With a lot of capital.
And I can see a hit here, so I'm gonna add a hit. Yeah, perfect.
So those with a lot of capital,
and then on each image, you see these images changing. Each one is gonna have a click on it, so you always need to have some sound effect on screen.
The royals.
If you have clicks like this in a row, you should not use the same click usually because it sounds repetitive, and if it's very loud, the client is gonna get annoyed. Probably the viewer is gonna get more annoyed. So just switch them up if you have more clicks like I do in this sound effect, and you can just alternate between them. Usually two is enough.
Access true wealth, freedom and opportunity.
And then here is a lower third. So complex. What the f is all this? I'm just gonna use a sound effect.
There's now a new
and there's also text here, so I'm gonna use the keyboard typing sound effect. That's how you add the sound effects without any mixing. Moving on to intermediate, I'll explain. We have types of music. Intros, important parts and high retention. That's more like tense music. Orchestral music, contemporary classical. For details, stories and lessons, so when it's more quiet in the video, you play more quiet music to match the vibe. Drone, classical, ambient. Drone is like waves of sound. It's not really notes that you can count. Classical, but focused classical, not some crazy Mozart. Ambient.
Oh my god, bro.
And then we have stories, announcements and outros. That's like upbeat, fun and inspired. Synthwave. Yeah, solo instrumental and solo instrumental again. I'm gonna link you this page, but you're not gonna download anything from it because this is copyrighted. I don't want to get in trouble. If you get a subscription to Epidemic Sound, you can just download them. But yeah, moving on. If you're already making some money with clients, or you know a little bit about editing and you want your edits to look expansive and beautiful and super refined, click the link below to buy Motion Ascent. In this course, I will teach you from literal raw files how to make this edit, and we'll have hours of technical modules alongside theoretical modules like clients and business, editing psychology, lifestyle, how to be more creative, and even specs and tech. So if you want your edits to be super expensive, then click the link below. Now we want to manipulate the way that they sound, add some effects, change the speed, reverb, and the pitch.
Imagine having access to the...
This is obviously too loud, we need to turn this down. The paper, first of all, is in my ears. The whoosh is okay because it's low end.
Imagine having access to the...
You should usually use the worst speaker you have in your house in order to mix the audio, because on YouTube usually people have shit speakers, so just match whatever they have. And here with this wind the mechanism, I usually make it faster, so I do speed 200 and then I copy it a few times. I don't always copy paste it, I just make it really long and then I just nest it. Turn it down because this is really loud on iPhones, especially because it's just high end.
To the freedom
and the sound effects, you should not make them stand out too much where it distracts from the video. Sound effects should just be felt, especially if it's low end. So you see this is perfectly mixed.
to the freedom and opportunity
You can just barely hear it.
that the elites
Here I think this is too loud and I need to turn this down as well.
is that the elites. Now looking back over here.
The paper is too loud and it's always loud every time I
Now
add it.
looking back.
When I'm annoyed, I copy all of them and I turn them down. Press G -4 and that should do it.
Now looking back over.
Perfect. So I accidentally added the same sound effect multiple times. I'm gonna turn the gain down by -8, and then for these ones to make them sound alternate, I'm just gonna turn them lower than the other ones.
The royals and usually a family lineage.
Yeah, perfect.
It's never been easy.
And then this sound effect, just speed it up a little bit, like 120, and turn it down.
Never been easier. There's now a new age of.
The keyboard typing, I'm gonna make it like 120 speed, extend it.
There's now a new age of wealth creation.
So now that we've done the sound effects, I'm gonna show you how to mix vocals and do music. We're gonna go to audio track mixer, go to the track that your vocals are on, mine is audio 3, and we're gonna add a few effects. In my case, I've added parametric equalizer, so the way you add an effect is just effect selection and select it here. Parametric equalizer is literally here in filter and EQ. Double click it and it's gonna be on default. You can choose vocal enhancer.
Imagine having access to.
That's what it sounds now, but I like to boost the lows, make them wider, and then this boost the highs as well.
Imagine having.
Already sounds better just because it makes the sound fuller without increasing the mids for no reason.
Imagine having access to the.
You can just copy my settings if you don't understand how to do this. And then we add hard limiter. How this works is you just go in limit to -1 decibel and you boost it so that this peaks to around like 0 to -6, -9.
Now looking back over history, that wealthy status was only true.
Here it's perfect. So that's how you mix vocals. And how do you add music? It's gonna be from this part and just in, out, boom. A quick fade in.
Imagine having.
Now I'm showing you how to mix it. So just turn it down so that you can hear the sound effects, the vocals, and the music. The music should be more of a background thing.
Imagine having access to the freedom.
But in the intro it can obviously be louder. And then we go to effects. We add a parametric equalizer to the music. Usually for songs I like to take the highs and just.
It's never been easier or more accessible to access true.
And this is basically perfect. I'm going to show you how to add a reverb. Just add the reverb. I mean, it's very simple. You can choose any sort of preset. What reverb does is basically, this is without reverb. And this is with reverb. Moving on to expert. There's this trick I have. It's called stem tracks. What does that mean? On Epidemic Sound, if you buy Epidemic Sound, sometimes you don't want the bass or the drums to be in the mix, so you can download stem tracks or use a vocal remover on tracks. Here's a tutorial on that. First off, you go to Epidemic Sound, you choose whatever song you want, and I just want the bass. And if I want to combine the bass with the melody, I should download them separately. Bass and then melody. and you can mix them however you want. So you can basically remix the song. So if you just want your video to have like the bass here and then have the melody come in later, you cannot nest two audio layers for some reason. Premiere Pro is retarded. So you nest this and then you just copy the layers below. You can paste them and line them up. So that is basically mixing your own music. That's why it's advanced, because this is more like producer shit. But you're a video editor and you're expected to know everything. And if you don't have Epidemic Sound, broke once again, I'm gonna show you how to use a vocal remover. I'm gonna give you a bonus here actually. This is a tool that I use to download audio off the internet, so you can just paste it. It doesn't work because the song is copyrighted. We take our song, we drag it into the vocal remover. Now that it's done, we have a mix of music and vocals. You cannot hear any vocals, you can hear like traces of it, but you can just...
I see the crossroads coming up.
Yeah, you get the point. Moving on to samples and loops. When I was studying music tech and when I was trying to be a musician, and that failed, I was using loops and different sounds from a website called Looperman. That translated over to video editing, so you can literally make your own music with Looperman. Just download like 3 loops, it's all you need. You can literally do it in Premiere if you found the right BPM. So here's how to do that really quickly. The way you do it is you just go onto Looperman, the website, and you log in because you need an account, and then you just go to loops. I'm actually just gonna use this sample. So you download it and then you look into its BPM and its key. So this is G sharp minor, 130 BPM. I'm gonna open a new tab. I'm gonna go into advanced search category and I'm gonna choose drums. 130 BPM to 130. G sharp minor, sure, if drums have keys. I'll just download multiple beats and then see which one works. We can mix them because each one goes for a different part of the song. Well, my GoPro's having problems, so we're using my laptop camera. Well, basically I showed you how to make a beat. It's as simple as dragging 2 tracks which are of the same BPM into the timeline and you have a beat. Matching SFX with music. This is like the coolest thing ever. It's simple, but at the same time it's expert because no one fucking does this. I want to use this in this musical sound effect.
It is that the elites do.
Because it does not match in the same key as the song. So we want to use a pitch shifter to match it, and it's simple if you're not tone deaf. -2.
It is that the elites do.
You just basically turn it down by 1 semitone and you keep playing it over and over until it sounds right, so it's not dissonant.
Opportunities that the elites do.
So this is like autistic level details, but that's why this is in expert. Copy paste this on all of them.
Those with a lot of capital.
Except for this one, because we're gonna turn it up 2 semitones.
It's never been easier.
That's it. God bless you. Mwah.